Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and this Python tutorial series. I am Aditya and in this video we are going to see the basics of Python. So what is Python, why it is used, just the introduction actually to keep it in a nutshell. So without any further ado, let's begin. So what is Python? So Python is a general purpose language. Okay, so if I compare it with C++ or Java, so C++ and Java, they are programming languages, while Python is somewhat in an area which is programming as well as a scripting language. So I'll tell you why. Of course, there are debate on this, like some might say it's a scripting language, some might say it's a programming language, but let's see what exactly. I'll destructure it for you and you decide where it falls. So programming languages are something which are compiled to machine code, which is like 1 or 0, because if you consider for CPUs or for the computers, they don't understand natural languages or they don't understand the instructions that we write. They only understand 1 and 0. So as for a normal human, there is English, Hindi, Marathi, Spanish, German, and different native languages. So for applications, they are written in certain sets of instructions or certain sets of languages which are programming languages. So how it works? So once you suppose, let's take an example of a calculator. So I have a calculator where there are keypads like 0 to 9 numbers and some plus minus signs and division signs and whatnot. So when I touch 5, then plus symbol and then 6, then it should be like 5 plus 6 equal to, or should I do something like minus? So this is like a flow. So we humans, we understand this, that okay, this is the button, we need to click it, and then this is something which will add, this will something which will subtract, etc. But for computer to know this, computer needs to know in, like, they need to be given a set of instruction. So when I say 5 plus 6, so computer asks us like, okay, should I add this? Should I just display it as it is, or should I stop, or should I wait for another instruction, something like that. So this all sets of instructions written in one file is nothing but a programming language, or it's a program. So programming languages in a nutshell are set of instructions which are compiled into bytecode or machine code, and machine code is something like 1 or 0, while the bytecode is something just another set of instructions which needs to be interpreted. So Python is interpreted, like it's compiled to bytecode, but it's not compiled to machine code. So that's the main difference. And that's what make it a bit slower, or rather slower in terms of Java and C++. So Python is converted to bytecode, and this bytecode is then further interpreted by Python virtual machines. So I'll tell you how it works when we write a program and run it, and then we'll go over it again. But just for now, so that's all about Python. Scripting languages, so just to deviate a bit, but of course you can skip this part. Scripting languages are something which are only interpreted. They are not compiled. So they are interpreted and they don't need to be converted, like they are like the interpreter does the job of converting it to machine code. So they are not compiled. So it's kind of like there is an extra step in between. So that's the difference between scripting language and programming language. So to give you an example of scripting language, PHP, JavaScript, Ruby, they're all scripting languages. C++, Java, C, they're all programming languages. Now, when it comes to Python, some say it's programming, some say it's scripting. But if you ask me, for me, it's kind of like a combination of scripting and programming language. So that's all about Python. Now let's see its usage. So you can use Python to create web applications, desktop applications, and mobile applications as well. Although it is preferred not to use Python for mobile application because of its certain pros and cons. So the best area of application domain for Python is desktop applications or web applications. In that, machine learning applications. So if you see, or if you are from data science background, or if you are aiming towards going to business analytics, or if you are going somewhere towards the analytical background, so you will see that Python is will be there as a one of the module of your course, or it's kind of like a necessity to know if you want to be a data scientist. Although there is R, but Python is like a step first step. So it's widely used in machine learning field. It's widely used in analytical field. It's like super easy to write and super easy to read and super easy to learn. So that's actually makes it, and of course it's a general purpose. So that's what makes it all combined together as a very, very famous language in machine learning field. So after seeing the usage, now we need to install the Python. So if you go to python.org, there in the downloads section, there you will see Python 3.9.6. So this is for till today's date, this is the current version of Python for Windows. So once you click on it, the downloading will begin. So this is the exe file. This you need to now take it forward from here manually. So I have already installed Python, so I won't do all the steps again, but I'll just show you how it works. So once you do this, you need to just click this box. So add Python 3.9 to path. So the environment path is for Windows is the environment variables. Of course, for Mac they have their own like environment system. But for Windows, if you want to run certain commands from command lines, that is the CMD tool, then you need to add it to the path so that you can access those commands from anywhere in your system. So suppose my Python gets installed at this location, Python/Python 3.9, something like that. Then I have to run all the Python commands from this Python folder only. I cannot access it through my other drives like D drive, L drive, or E drive. I cannot access that. So to access them, you need to check this box and add it to the path variable. Once that's done, if you proceed forward with the install now, or like the recommended one is the install now. Of course, you can change the location, because in my case, I've installed it on L drive. So I've just changed the location from here with customized installation. But if you want a rapid installation, you can also always go with the straightforward installation steps, which are already described. So once that's done, like once you install Python successfully, the next thing to do is check if it's installed properly. So what you could do is you could write Python, and if you hit enter, you should see something like this, like the version of Python over here. So I'm on the 3.8.7 version, and you should be able to write certain instruction here. So if I say 5 plus 6, or rather something like this, 5 plus 6, and if I hit enter, so if it goes something like this, that means the Python is installed successfully. Rather, you don't even need to write the instruction. If this tool starts with 3 arrows like this, that means it's already installed. So you don't have to worry about this. So after installing the Python, you need to make sure that you have installed pip. So pip is like PIP is a command line tool for Python, which is used to install all the Python libraries or dependencies. So to make sure that pip is installed, simply write pip and hit enter. If it comes something like this, that means your pip is installed successfully. If it doesn't comes like this, make sure while you install, when you are asked in the installation that if you want to add pip to your path, make sure you check that, and also make sure that if it's not checked, or if you don't have that option, you add that pip in your environment variables. So after all this done, now let's create the Python program. How to create a Python program? I have VS Code, like Visual Studio Code, so I'll be using that. Of course, you can use any editor. You can use like editor of your choice. That's not a problem. So to create a Python program, all I need to do is in VS Code. So in the folder, so Python tutorial is my folder. I just have to say new file, and here I just have to write the name of my file. So anything. So in this case, I will write tutorial, and all the Python files should end with .py. So that's the main thing. So every Python file has an extension of .py, like how text file has .txt, how Excel file have .xls, something like that. So in for Python, you have .py. When I hit enter, it will create a tutorial.py for me. Then Once that's done, let's simply write a program to print hello world. Like that's the very basic program in any programming language you will learn, or anything in computer science. If you're learning a language or a scripting language, whatever it is, hello world is the starting point. So let's start with it. So print, that's how you write, like that's how you print in Python. So print and then round brackets. In that round bracket, with double quote, you pass a message that you want to print. So I will say hello world. Oh, if I type it correctly, hello world here. Save this, and now how to run this. So with VS Code, you can just hit this green button and it will run in the terminal. But let me show you how to run it from the command line. So from the command line here, so now, as I said, Python is compiled and interpreted. So it's not compiled to machine code, it's compiled to bytecode, and this bytecode is interpreted. So when I say Python, so this tool, Python, and then the name of the file, tutorial.py, it will make all the things that are necessary to run this code. So it will do the compilation and interpretation. So we don't have to worry about it. So if I hit enter, you will see hello world is displayed. So how it works is this print, it's converted to a bytecode instruction, like print hello world, like this one line. It's converted into a bytecode instruction. And as CPU only understand machine code, which is 1 and 0, so to convert that bytecode, or to tell the CPU that, hey, this is the bytecode, and now this is what each instruction in this bytecode means. So there is something known as interpreter. So interpreter does that job of interpreting the bytecode to the machine code. Okay, so this might get a bit difficult to understand. So let's go over it again. So we have bytecode. This bytecode is different than machine code. So machine code is only 1 and 0, which computer understand it straight away. So we don't need anything there. So like that's computer language. So bytecode, it's not a computer language. So for bytecode, as it's not a computer language, we need someone to tell the CPU that, hey, all this line in this bytecode, or all this set of instruction in bytecode means something. So that is done by the interpreter. Okay, so compiler compiles the program in simple words. So it does it all at once, and interpreter interprets the instruction line by line. So that's what make interpreted language bit slower than languages which are directly compiled to the machine code, because that step of interpretation for languages like C++, C, or Java, it's skipped. So that's the basic difference. Now, after seeing this difference, let's take it forward in the next video, where we will see the data types and variable. Also, I would like to mention that if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button, and also hit the like button if you like this video. If you feel this series is worth sharing with your network, please do share with your network. And yep, that's all for this video. So in the next video again, we will see the data variables and how to then take it forward, like how we can go step by step. So till the next time, goodbye, and see you in the next video.